Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you to this interaction on aerospace and defense, the road ahead for the Indo Czech cooperation. We'll be starting this program in just a couple of minutes. I request you to kindly bear with us. We will quickly start in 2 minutes' time. Thank you.
So please, sir. Sir? Yes, sir. Not so clear, sir. So please, sir.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My apologies for this delayed start. We would just be having a small change in our agenda this afternoon. We would have our president speak a little later. We would go ahead with our planned agenda, and I would like to request Mr. Iqbaljit Singh Bains, the senior advisor with Invest India, to make his opening address and share on the general policy and the defense and aerospace ecosystem in India. So I welcome you all, ladies and gentlemen, for this interaction. And I would now request to Mr. Bains to take the lead and take us forward. Mr. Bains, please.
Sure, Vinod, sure. Are you able to view my screen?
Yes, we are.
Can you see my screen? Is it visible?
Your screen is visible, but we're not able to see the content yet.
Just hold on. Is it visible now?
No, not really.
Just hold on. I think there is some problem.
Yeah, it's visible now. Please go ahead.
Is it visible now?
Yeah, it is. Please go ahead.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you, Vinod. His Excellency, Mr. Milan Huarka, Mr. President, Mr. Arun, members of the Czech industry, officials from government of Tamil Nadu. Good afternoon and welcome to this session on the road ahead for India Czech. This is some other presentation, Vinod. I'm viewing some other screen. I think somebody else is sharing the content now. Vinod, can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you share your screen again, please?
Yeah, I think somebody else started sharing their screen. So my presentation will give you a macroeconomic overview of India and how the success of Make in India campaign has enabled the Indian industry to make rapid strides in the aerospace and defense manufacturing. I'll just then briefly touch upon the domestic aerospace and defense manufacturing ecosystem in India. So I always like to start out with this slide because for us as an organization, the Transforming India message is very important. Because these few numbers in essence capture the very metamorphosis that India is going through right now. According to World Bank and the IMF projections, as you can see, India is the fastest growing large economy. But in reality, it's only 8 or 9 states within India that are fighting this high growth rate. But what we're going to see in the next year or so is that the next 5 or 6 states will be ready to fire. And that will supplement the growth story. By 2025, if you can see, India will be 1.5 billion population with an average age of 29 years. Now, this is the largest concentration of human capital on earth. So not only are we talking about a large market, we're also talking about a huge potential resource. An Indian born in the 21st century is expected to earn about 245,000 US dollars during his or her lifetime. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a transforming India of today. So there is a recognition within the government that the center of good politics is good economics. I think all of you would agree here. The challenge remains that every year, about 10 million Indians are joining the workforce, which means that the government has to employ a workforce nearly twice the size of Singapore every year. And the Make in India campaign remains critical to that. The initiative aims to raise the contribution of the manufacturing sector to 25% of the GDP by the year 2025. Now, there are about 25 focus sectors, as you can see, within Make in India, with a combined market opportunity of almost 5 trillion US dollars. If we move on to the ease of doing business impact, that's also a crucial element to making India a global manufacturing hub. And that has always been the focus area for the government. Over the last 6 years, over 15,000 procedures and policy revisions have taken place both at the center and at the state level. Now, we can already see the positive impact of the ease of doing business measures. India has jumped about 79 places in the EODB rankings, and the jump in 2019 was the highest single jump by any country ever in the history. If you move on to the foreign direct investment, as you can see, India remains as possibly the only bright spot in the global investment landscape, with global FDI numbers went down almost 42%. India's FDI numbers were up by 13% by comparison. That green spot which you see, that is India, and that has grown by almost 13%. Now, this is an interesting slide, which I'd just like to take you through. The slide very accurately captures the varied strengths of the Indian manufacturing, and the Indian subsidiaries are regularly outperforming their global parents. I'd just like to take my favorite example out here. It's the Japanese automaker Suzuki. Now, not only does its Indian subsidiary Maruti Suzuki record greater revenues, have a higher market cap than the parent company, but Maruti Suzuki sells as many cars in India as the parent company sells all over the world. So that's an interesting fact which you have to take note of. In the recent years, India has become a global R&D hub for the Fortune 500 companies. the Make in India campaign has greatly benefited from that. There are about 1,100 R&D centers in India, and the world's most recognizable brands from Bosch to Samsung have their largest R&D units outside their domestic market in India. So what we're witnessing now is that a domestic defense industry is beginning to tap into this ecosystem for their product development. Now, this brings me to the second section of my presentation. But before I deep dive into the sector, I'd just like to preface it with one observation. India is a market whose position has changed in the international system. Now, whether it's the Wassenaar arrangement or entry into the MTCR or the STA1 status, it's never been easier to strategically partner with India. And as a result, we're seeing the world-class partnerships are emerging between Indian industry and global OEMs. Now, the one predominant trend that ties together all these numbers is that in recent years, India has matured into a hub for defense manufacturing. Now, overall defense production has seen almost an 80% increase in the last 5 years and touched 12 billion in 2019. And defense exports in the same period have also witnessed a tenfold increase, with defense export permissions touching almost 1.5 billion US dollars in March 2020. This brings me to the second part of the self-reliance index. Now, India plans to spend about $150 billion in the short term to medium term to upgrade the equipment across all three services. The government is equally committed to undertaking this modernization drive through indigenizing defense manufacturing. The Make in India campaign, which was introduced in 2014, as you can see on the left side, and we're already seeing increasing levels of self-reliance in defense production. Currently, all major naval and submarine warships are also under construction in Indian shipyards, and 75% of the total acquisition orders of the Indian Army are with the Indian firms. The government has also set an ambitious target of 70% self-reliance in defense manufacturing by 2027. And there is every indication that we will achieve this target. Now, India offers plenty of opportunities for the aerospace and defense players. Some of the key demand drivers have been listed in my slide here. And this is across the three tri-services. Along with this and the FDI policy, which is already in place, various other policies such as the strategic partnerships policy, the defense offset policy, and the defense industrial corridors are dedicated to the defense manufacturing sector in India, which I'm going to further talk about in my presentation. Now, this is an interesting bit. In 2020, India released its defense production and export promotion policy. And going forward, as shown under the policy, these will be the focus areas for defense manufacturing. Now, over the next 15 years, various acquisition programs, the total engine requirement in terms of number of units could reach up to 4,000 aero engines. Now, the Indian industry has already developed competencies in the design and development of both rotary and fixed wing platform. So the next stage in the evolutionary process is to create expertise for the developing core technologies for aero engines. Similarly, India is also the third largest aviation market globally, and our civil aircraft fleet is expected to grow by 2380 in the next 15 years. And there have been several policy interventions by the government specific to tax rationalization in order to make the business for setting up MROs more favorable. And this will reduce our import dependence, particularly in the components and engine MRO segments. The defense industrial corridors, as I was talking about previously. Now, the government has also dedicated 2 DICs in the states of Tamil Nadu and the second being Uttar Pradesh to act as clusters of defense manufacturing that are leveraging existing infrastructure and human capital. Both the corridors, you would agree, ladies and gentlemen, they lie in geographical advantageous positions, which allow for the state's human capital to be efficiently employed and have a conducive manufacturing policy that encourage defense manufacturing. Since we're talking about Tamil Nadu today, about 120 plus companies have a strong aerospace component manufacturing base in Tamil Nadu. The state is also producing over 5,000 aerospace engineers every year. So that's a great opportunity for the Czech players to come and invest in the state of Tamil Nadu's industrial corridor. I'd just like you to briefly take you through the startup ecosystem in India. Now, we have about 18 homegrown unicorns valued over 100 billion, and we have the third largest ecosystem in the world. And we're uniquely positioned to develop and leverage our engineering and entrepreneurial talent for the development of defense technologies, pioneering in this sector. The IDEX program, it's a significant initiative in this regard by the Ministry of Defense. It was launched by the Honorable Prime Minister to provide MSMEs and startups, individual innovators with funding to carry out R&D, which has potential for future adoption. Now, if we map the aerospace and defense manufacturing ecosystem in India, there are about 41 ordnance factories, as you can see in the center, and about 9 public sector companies that are engaged in defense manufacturing. The combined output is over $9 billion US. Now, their manufacturing expertise covers a wide range of products over land, naval, and air and homeland segments, including subsystems such as avionics and electronic warfare suites, to end products such as surface-to-air weapon systems, artillery systems, missile destroyers, corvettes, stealths, frigates, submarines, and rotary and fixed-wing platforms as well. The private sector, on the other hand, manufacturing, it's in the sector, and it has also been increasing, and it has already touched about $2.4 billion US. Now, with the Indian companies tapping into the export market, this number is projected to grow significantly in the coming years. And the private sector is increasingly taking up the bulk of the manufacturing responsibilities for the several major acquisition programs of the Government of India. For example, recently you would have heard that the government had cleared $6.6 billion deal for the 83 LCA and HAL, has also developed 50 tier 1 and over 500 tier 2 and tier 3 Indian partners to meet the production needs for the program. Similarly, DRDO has also designed the Pinaka multi-barrel rocket launcher system, and orders for 6 regiments have already been placed with Tata and L&T. In the paucity of time, I'll just briefly take you through the aerospace and defense manufacturing land systems slide. Now, the Akash medium-range surface-to-air missile system is one of the several successful outcomes from the integrated guided missile development program and has been cleared for export. Now, it has built-in electronic counter measures, and the entire weapon system has been configured on mobile platforms and is operational with the Indian Air Force and the Indian Army as we speak. The Indian scientific community was also able to leverage these learnings from the integrated guided missile development program for the development of several other missile systems. On the right, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, the Pinaka multi-barrel rocket launcher can neutralize an area of almost 3,500 square meters at a range of 60 kilometers. And on the left, we have the Astra all-weather day and night PBR air-to-air missile, which has a range of almost 160 kilometers. Moving on to the artillery systems, we have an ambitious field artillery rationalization plan under which there is a requirement of almost 2,000 guns of all types of artillery regiments. The advanced towed artillery gun system developed under this modernization program has set a world record by hitting targets at a range of 48 kilometers. Similarly, in the middle one, you can see L&T has received the largest contract given to any Indian private company from the Ministry of Defense for delivery of 52 caliber tracked self-propelled howitzer guns, of which 91 guns have already been delivered. Moving on to the aerial platforms. Now, the Indian industry has manufacturing experience of over 4,000 fixed wing and rotary wing platforms. The HAL, along with its supply partners, has the capability to design and manufacture an entire spectrum of aircrafts, from the basic trainer aircrafts, such as the HTT-40, which will be used for stage 1 training of IAF pilots, to the 4th generation LCA, which not only has a superb safety track record, it will also form the backbone of the IAF fleet for the 21st century. Now, if we move on to the naval shipyard capabilities and strength. Now, Indian shipyards have the expertise to build a wide range of platforms. Furthermore, these platforms have also a good track record as they are operational service with multiple naval forces across varied maritime theaters. Now, secondly, these shipyards have world-class infrastructure and are capable of modular and simultaneous construction and refit of multiple ships. I'll just quickly end my slide with a couple of more slides on the Indian Ocean region. Now, as you can see, Indian shipyards have a diverse range of products that are of operational relevance to the region, and they have multi-role functions and are effective in several spheres of naval operations, be it combat, constabulary role, or humanitarian or patrolling roles. Now, the government has also set up a ambitious target of achieving 5 billion in exports by 2025 in the aerospace and defense sector. A large portion of that target is going to be met by Indian tier 1 and tier 2 companies that have been able to successfully integrate themselves into the supply chain of global OEMs. Now, the companies like Dynamatic Technologies, Tata, registered tier 1 vendors for Boeing, Lockheed Martin, Airbus, and are also exporting components, structures, and assemblies in India. Now, just to give you an example, Tata's joint venture with Boeing is the sole producer of fuselages for Apache A64 helicopter. Similarly, Tata's JV with Lockheed Martin has already delivered over 100 empennages for C-130J transport aircrafts. And over and above components and assemblies, India is also exporting end products to various jurisdictions. Now, again, this is absolutely not a comprehensive list, but a small snapshot of the Make in India products that have been exported globally, in addition to what has been featured in the previous slides. Similarly, the Bell developed the coastal surveillance system, which uses multiple radar and sensors to provide a composite operating picture of an entire coastline. Now, this has also been exported to Seychelles, Maldives, and Mauritius, and is also being used by the Indian Coast Guard for maritime surveillance applications. I'd just like to end my slide here, and I think this will be a good segue into Colonel Kobe's presentation. So I will conclude my remarks here and would like to reiterate that this is the right time for the Czech defense players to come and invest in India and set up their manufacturing operations in India. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Baines, for your insightful and broad perspective that you have provided of our aerospace and defense sector. I would now like to request Mr. A.R.M. Arun, President SICI and the Honorary Consul of the Czech Republic and Chairman Valengra Group, to deliver his welcome remarks and introduction. President, please.
Vinod, am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
His Excellency, Mr. Milan Hovorka, Ambassador of the Czech Republic in India, Dr. K.P. Karthikeyan, IAS, Executive Director, Tamil Nadu Industrial Development Corporation, TIDCO, Colonel K.V. Kuber, Director, Aerospace and Defense, E&Y India, Mr. Iqbaljit Singh Baines, Investment Specialist, Invest India, representatives from the Czech and Indian companies present with us today, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. As we wish in Tamil, Vanakkam. As is said in the Czech Republic, Dobrý den. Wishing you all a very nice day. Glad to be addressing you on behalf of the Southern India Chamber of Commerce and Industry, SICI, and the Honorary Consulate of the Czech Republic in Chennai. I would like to extend our warmest welcome to each one of you for today's event, SICI's Defense and Aerospace Roundtable, the road ahead for Indo Czech Defense and Aerospace Partnership. With my representing two important areas today, SICI as well as the Czech Republic and Tamil Nadu and Puducherry, I necessarily have a good amount of info to share with you. I have hence tried my best to make my address as interesting as possible so that you are able to gain from it. But before that, by my representing three society-oriented entities, including that of my companies, feel I should first highlight a few areas regarding this ongoing pandemic. We're going through an extremely difficult period with this debilitating second wave and maybe more in other parts of the world. It's important for each one of us to contribute to arresting this spread. I'd like to share 4 points again for each of our attention. Request that those who have not taken the vaccine yet to please do so with your doctor's advice if necessary and not delay it any further. Please strictly follow the required precautions, whether wearing masks effectively or physical distancing or not being in crowded places as well. Third, take the required immunity boosters, again with your doctor's advice. And fourth, be supportive of all frontline workers in any way we can. Each one of us play a very important role in arresting this spread. We have to do whatever we can to bring about the much needed normalcy in our environment going forward. With those words, I would now like to start my formal address for today. I would like to start by sharing a few words about SICKI. SICKI has completed 110 years of service to industry, government, and society. Founded in 1909 under the inspiration of Mahatma Gandhi, SICKI has inherited a rich tradition while at the same time remaining youthful, dynamic, and embracing change. SICKI has conceptualized and conducted several events, and in the process has worked very closely with both the government of Tamil Nadu and also the government of India. SICKI has held 2 extremely successful aerospace and defense programs, the first being during December 2020 along with the Indian Navy, and the second during February of this year along with the Indian Air Force. SICKI also conducted the roadshow for MSB 2019, which is the Czech Republic's International Engineering Fair. This was organized during August 2019, and it had representatives of the Industries Department of Government of Tamil Nadu and also the Czech Embassy's participation. SICKI also organized a webinar on the Indo Czech Executive Roundtable doing business with Tamil Nadu in coordination with Guidance Tamil Nadu. This was held during October 2020 and had the participation of industry ministers of the Czech Republic as well as Tamil Nadu. I'd now like to share a few words about the Honorary Consulate of the Czech Republic in Chennai. This was inaugurated in March of 2019 by His Excellency Mr. Milan Hovorka, Ambassador of the Czech Republic to India. The Honorary Consulate represents Tamil Nadu and Puducherry. We have since completed 2 years of service towards exploring and developing bilateral trade and cultural exchanges among the Czech Republic with Tamil Nadu and Puducherry. In spite of the challenging pandemic during the last year, we have continued to actively support development and ties across various sectors, including healthcare, industry, education, tourism, and cultural exchanges with regular coordination among all stakeholders. We have been regularly receiving queries on education, employment, and tourism from Indians who are interested to visit the Czech Republic and start their relationships accordingly. A few words about the Czech Republic. Many in India still think that the country is still Czechoslovakia. However, there was a Velvet Revolution of 1989 that led to the self-determined split in 1993 into the countries of the Czech Republic and Slovakia. Czech Republic today is about 60% of the land area of Tamil Nadu, but has the same population and GDP as that of Tamil Nadu, with however a per capita income 10 times that of Tamil Nadu. The Czech Republic is a highly developed country, high export income, innovation-driven services, manufacturing, and industry. The literacy rate is 99%, and the Czech Republic is ranked 14 in the Human Capital Index. It is the 10th safest and peaceful country in the world. There are over 1 lakh Indians visiting the Czech Republic annually. It is certainly a historic country, beautiful in all respects, whether it's castles, the scenic Vltava River, as well as its clean streets. When we look at the India-Czech Republic friendship, Czechoslovakia was the first country to recognize independent India in 1947. India returned the favor and was the first country to recognize the establishment of the Czech Republic in 1993. The relationship between the two countries has developed on trade, investment, and tourism. It started off with the silk spice trade during the Duchess of Bohemia. Since 1920s, Bata and Java have been hugely popular in India. The Czech glass has also been famous in India laid out in Indian palaces, hotels, and several other places. The Czechs are also well familiar about our yoga. There have been several intergovernmental visits that have been regularly held year on year, leading to increased friendship. India was incidentally the partner country at MSV 2017 that was held in Brno. Both countries agreed to boost bilateral economic ties during the 11th session of the India-Czech Joint Commission on Economic Cooperation held in October 2018. The Czech government continues to rank India among the priority countries for promoting mutual investment. When we look at India's defense partnership history with Europe, for long, a major chunk of India's relationship with European countries was for the purchase of defense equipment. Given their historic linkages, the UK was the initial primary source for defense equipment before India transitioned to the Soviet Union in the 1960s. Some defense items were bought from France, such as the Alice ASW aircraft and the Alouette helicopters. Defense procurement broadened by the early 1980s when India began to acquire arms from Western European countries, including Mirage aircraft from France, submarines from Germany, and the Anglo-French attack aircraft Seppicat Jaguar. While this trade was mostly with Western Europe, the Central and Eastern European countries, such as Poland and the Czech Republic, also got a share in India's defense market. This was primarily as a legacy of India's defense trade with the Soviet Union. The Army's usage of the Tatra vehicles in a joint venture with Bharat Earth Movers Limited is a notable example, while other Czech companies such as Omnipol and Gearspec also forayed into India. Traditionally, the Czech Republic was known for producing heavy equipment, radar technologies, and jet trainer aircrafts. When we look at the post-liberalization partnership among our countries, the Indo Czech bilateral defense cooperation gained new momentum with the signing of the MOU of bilateral defense cooperation during October 2003. Accordingly, the Joint Defense Committee, or JDC, was set up. So far, 6 such meetings of the JDC have taken place, with the last meeting being held in New Delhi on February 3, 2020. Czech defense companies have been regularly supplying military equipment to the Indian Armed Forces. President Kovind recently remarked, quote, "There is immense potential for India-Czech defense collaboration to meet the growing requirements of the Indian defense industry. The Czech strengths in manufacturing and advanced technology make it a natural fit to partner Indian growth and next generation development," unquote. When we look at Tamil Nadu and the Czech Republic forging ahead, Tamil Nadu is known to be one of the most advanced, industrially progressive, and competitive states of India, with a diversified industrial base, strong fundamentals, and above all, a well-educated and skilled population. The state is a leader and a pioneer in a number of crucial industrial sectors, such as textiles, leather, automobiles, and auto components, IT, and healthcare. Tamil Nadu has the largest number of factories and largest employment in industry among all states in India. Tamil Nadu can be a prime destination for Czech defense manufacturers. The potentials offered by Tamil Nadu for defense ties with the Czech Republic need no elaboration. Most of Indian airports use radars originating from the Czech Republic. We know that the Czech Republic is one of the few countries which have the capacity to design and produce aircraft of different types, including supersonics. So Czech defense manufacturers can further tap into India's burgeoning arms market and be a part of the defense corridor in our state. Even as it aims to increase the quantum of local defense production, India has also acknowledged that for the foreseeable future, high technology arms imports will continue to meet the current operational requirements of its military. When we consider SICI and its way forward, SICI would certainly be growing its focus on the aerospace and defense sectors with meaningful engagements with key stakeholders. We are planning for a session with Invest India in May 2021, followed by a session with ISRO in June and with the Indian Army in July. SICI has worked well with the Czech Embassy in Delhi in the past. We have hosted 2 Czech business delegations in the past years, as well as high-profile visits by senior dignitaries. In the past year, we have had very good interactions with the embassy with the participation of the government of Tamil Nadu. Our most recent interaction was when the ambassador visited SICI last month for an on-site interaction. SICI's engagement with the Czech Republic would certainly continue. We are planning for the participation of the Czech embassy in our various events, including the food processing conclave, education and engineering sectors. We also hope to be hosting a roadshow for MSV 2021, the flagship expo that is organized by the Czech Republic every year. SICI's flagship events in the next 6 months would include SICI 360, the monthly series that I host, the Food Processing Conclave and Expo, the Agri Summit, Bay of Bengal Maritime Summit, as well as the Energy Conclave Cum Awards, among others. In conclusion, we are sure today's program, beyond being just a good get-to-know session, will also certainly be a catalyst for development and growth. Today, in the midst of the pandemic and medical emergencies, we are thankful to the Czech Republic for their contribution in helping us check the dreaded COVID infection. Dr. Thomas Chilar is a Czech biochemist who was the pioneer in the development of the life-saving drug remdesivir. I am hopeful that we will expand the presence of Czech products and services in Tamil Nadu in the days to come, expanding certainly on aerospace and defense as well. SICI and the Honorary Council of the Czech Republic in Chennai, under my leadership, certainly look forward to catalyzing more such events benefiting Tamil Nadu and the Czech Republic. In closing, I would like to take this opportunity to appreciate my colleagues, His Excellency Mr. Hovorka, who's ever energetic and enthusiastic in promoting the India-Czech bilateral relationship, Mr. Vinod Solomon, Secretary SICI, who has been spearheading SICI's aerospace and defense foray, Mr. Hakub Harosh, who has been extremely well communicated with us in organizing today's event, and certainly look forward to working with him closely for organizing more events in the times to come. Mr. Johnson Christie, my colleague at the Honorary Consulate of Chennai office, for the well-coordinated effort in making things happen. We would like to sincerely appreciate each of your presence with us today. Thank you, looking forward, and wishing each one of you safe times ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President, for your insightful words and introduction. I would now like to request Mr. A.R.R.M. Arun, President SICI, to also release the Defense and Aerospace report that SICI jointly with SAS partners and Sugosha Advisory have prepared. May now request Mr. A.R.R.M. Arun to release the report, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am extremely glad to share with you that today's report is the third such report that SICI has released. The first one being along with the event that we did with the Indian Navy in December. The second one was with the Indian Air Force in February. The one in December was focused on Navy-related activities, and the one in February was focused on the Air Force-related activities. Today's report that I'm going to be releasing is titled Tamil Nadu, the Manufacturing Powerhouse and a Rising Defense and Aerospace Hub. This report builds on the report that we constructed in February of this year, taking forward the aerospace event as well as covering Navy and several other developments that have taken place. We have been able to put this report together along with our knowledge partners, SAS. May I now release this report?
Thank you, President. Participants, we would be circulating this report to each and every one of you by email in the days to come, and we look forward to your feedback and your comments in this regard as well. I would now like to request Mr. Colonel Kuber, the head of E&Y Defense Practice, to address us next. He would be speaking on the opportunity radar, the interpretation of policy and bilateral business opportunities. As you know, Colonel K.V. Kuber, he is an Indian Army veteran and alumnus of the prestigious National Defense Academy. Colonel Kuber, he super specialized in electronic warfare and commanded an electronic warfare regiment, both in operations in East and Western theaters in conventional as well as in insurgency environments. So Colonel Kuber, he founded and established the Defense Offset Facilitation Agency, which is the DOFA, in the Ministry of Defense. And he was the chief architect, mainly responsible for the offset policy of the government of India since its inception in 2005. And he has served in various capacities as advisor for Ministry of MSME, as advisor for EY on SME. He has been invited for his comments to various majors, including Embraer, to Rafael Advanced System and other big players. He since served as the advisor HQ for DRDO from April 2014 for 1 year. And he has been a very important contributor to the Ministry of Defense project, the defense industry corridors, besides the other critical engagements that he handles. So it is indeed fortunate that Colonel Kuber is here with us to share his thoughts. Without further ado, I would now like to invite Colonel Kuber to share his thoughts, please. Over to you, Colonel Kuber.
Thank you very much, Mr. Solomon. His Excellency, Mr. Milan Hovorka, Ambassador of the Czech Republic in India, Mr. Iqbal Bains, Invest India, I must compliment you for an excellent presentation over there. Mr. Karthikeyan, IAS, Executive Director, TIDCO, Mr. Arun, the President of SICI. In fact, it was a very, very inspiring talk, Mr. Arun. It was very nice the way you started off cautioning all of us to stay safe and remain safe. Mr. Vijay Kumar, Mr. Sony Matthews, Alex Koshi from SAS, who've done an excellent job in bringing up this event together and creating reports. Mr. Ramchandran from MEL, I see that he's participating in this as we go forward. And I want to make a special mention because he's one of our active members and former presidents of ELSINA, on the board of which I also serve. Mr. Jacob Jaros, Economic and Commercial Counselor in New Delhi. Mr. Peter Model, Group Director of the PBS Group. I see very good groups participating here, like the STV Group, which is Arms and Ammunition, Free Horizons in UAVs, Technicoat in Industrial Coatings, Space Now in Earth Observation and Imagery. And I'm going to talk about all of this when we talk about the opportunities as we go forward. Mr. Arun, I really like your advice that we got to follow the laid down protocol during these difficult times. And all that I want to add is we can also do pranayama. Pranayama is one of the most interesting things to activate your lungs, and it keeps you free of so many diseases. So that's something that one can do, of course, in the Brahma Muhurta, which is early in the morning before sunrise, normally between 3 and 4 or 3 and 5 unearthly hours. But yes, if you try, it's very good. I must say that the previous two conferences with the Indian Navy and Indian Air Force were very, very well attended, and SICI has been in the forefront bringing about knowledge, and through knowledge and industry participation, industry partnerships, and that is something that's very, very good. The Czech Republic, as I see, maintains a comparatively large defense industrial sector with successful operations of long-standing defense companies and advanced expertise in areas such as radars, technologies, and aviation. Mr. Arun did mention some of these, and I'm going to talk when I come to talking about the S-band, K-band, Ka-band radars. I think that's the opportunity we are looking at, because beyond the S-band, there is a real requirement of technology in India, and I think we are really looking at that. And since Czech Republic has gone way ahead in radar technologies, that is something that they need to focus on. there is the human rights-based foreign policy of the first president, Mr. Havel, which impacted the defense industry initially, but I think in favor of participation as they moved on in 90s. And the Czech Republic, the transformation was into smaller strategic firms in civil and dual-use production with small investments by the government to maintain essentials. So we are seeing an aerospace industry which produces aircrafts, guided missiles, space vehicles, aircraft engine, related parts. A long history of aerospace development, which is dating back to 20th century. And the country today, I'm talking about the Czech Republic, which accounts for a high-quality, innovative aerospace sector through its R&D programs and investments over the years. They've increased their defense spending by about 13% annually since 2017. And Czech Republic is on track to reach the 1.4% GDP of defense spending by 2021, and has also announced a plan to reach a committed 2% by 2024. And that's very, very impressive. The major players, like we know the Tata trucks, part of the larger Czechoslovak holding group, which is the Czech and Slovak defense companies, which accounts for a large number of jobs. And the 4x4, the 6x6, and the 8x8 are pretty successful in export markets, and of course we also use them in a very big way. Other companies such as Excalibur Army, focusing on repairs, upgrades on the Soviet era systems, and also cooperating with General Dynamics on the Pandu 2 8x8 armored vehicle program. This is of particular interest because less than 3 days from today, if we just look back, there is an RFI for a light tank which we want to use in the northern sector. And therefore, these are the companies that have to look forward to having the collaborations with so many companies out there in Chennai and around, because Chennai is known as the major industrial hub as far as tanks and air vehicles are concerned. Very recently, our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, also announced this on his visit when he actually gave out the order for the 118 Arjun tanks. And he actually said this is going to be the center of excellence for tanks in South Asia. We also have Siska Zubrovska, which employs more than about 2,000 odd people and they are the leaders in terms of rifles and small arms. And I'm going to talk about the opportunities in small arms today. We are already talking about the carbines, the LMGs, and as we go forward, of course, we are doing the AK-203 rifle with the Russians. But there's going to be a lot of opportunities in terms of sniper rifles, in terms of more carbines. We're already talking in terms of 93,000 odd carbines, which is still out there in the open. And I think there is enough opportunity to still tie up and respond, because more than 26 companies have responded to this particular program. And this program on the carbines itself is on a fast track, and it's likely to be concluded in a record time of less than 2 years from today. There are other companies like ZVI, Cellular and Billot, Explosia, which specialize in ammunition, anti-tank mines, explosives, and grenade launchers. And here, when I talk about the opportunities in ammunition, we already have about 7 expression of interest out there in the open, and 2-3 more are likely to come. We are talking about the 30 mm, the 23 mm, the small arms caliber ammunition, and there is going to be plenty more. And here we are looking at more than about $3 to $5 billion worth of opportunity out there, where the armed forces have laid down and given out also the annual intake that they would have in a very mandated manner for a period of 10 years. And therefore, we are looking at an assured buy from the Indian Army, while there is plenty of opportunity for export when I especially look at the Indian Ocean region. Because when India starts producing this ammunition in mass scale, you will find that it will be among the cheapest and the best in the world. So there's going to be a plenty of opportunity in terms of exports. And Iqbal was talking to us about the export opportunities and how bullish the nation is in terms of increasing the exports from India. And therefore, we actually, when we look at the Indian opportunity, we should look at two opportunities out there. One is the opportunity demand that is generated from the Indian Armed Forces. And second, the opportunity for exports as India comes out a very, very neutral and a very favorable country in terms of many countries for their import requirements. There are other companies. You know, we have talked about the Sky Leader ultralight aircraft, the L-159 light trainer aircraft, and I'm talking about Aero Vodoccheri. And there are smaller companies like G Aviation, Honeywell, Czech Republic, in the Honeywell, Praga Export, LOM, Praha, and so many players which employ quite a lot of people, and they do. One particular company which really impressed me in the Czech Republic was Walter Aircraft Engines. An Indian aircraft engine manufacturer and former automotive manufacturer. They started in 1911 or so, as just to make motorcycles and motor tricycles. They started making the automobiles in 1913. They made the Fiat, and then sometime later, they went on to actually start manufacturing aircrafts and aircraft engines. During World War II, they also made the Argus engine under license from Germany. And there are a few Argus engines that are still being used in India. So when I see that more than about 32,000 aircrafts have been made by the Czech Republic, more than 37,000 engines have been manufactured, the General Electric Hotel 80, H80 type of engines, because I found a very interesting happening over there. GE was bullish to come and take over Walter Aircraft Engines because they thought that's the only way they can contain Pratt & Whitney expansion in the smaller engine segment. And by taking over the Walter Aircraft Engines, the turboprop domination of GE has actually increased manifold. Why I'm talking to you about this particular capability? This is because we have a lot of automobile manufacturers in Chennai, in and around Chennai. Chennai is in fact known as the Detroit of the East. And when I talk about the defense industrial corridor, since I was part of the team that worked on the defense, the detailed project report with the Ministry of Defense in India to create the report for both the corridors, we come to a finding that the Tamil Nadu corridor is a brown corridor with a lot of capability. And when we actually mapped the companies down there, we found that the inherent capabilities, there will be so many Walter aircraft engine companies out there. You just have to go see around Coimbatore, see around Chennai, see around Trichy. So you got all these companies over there. So a good combination, a good JV, a good partnership will actually see a lot of business opportunity as we go forward. Why I'm talking about a business opportunity out here? If you see the defense acquisition procedure, which we have today, the DAP 2020, it brings out a very interesting thing. It brings out 2 or 3 interesting things. One is aero engines have been nominated as projects of national importance. MROs, maintenance, repair and overhaul, have been nominated as projects of national importance. So when I see companies like Excalibur Army which are focused on repairs, upgrades, and reselling of Soviet-era systems. And they have worked with General Dynamics also. So I think there is a great opportunity here for setting up a good and a dynamic MRO going on both for the land segment and for the aero segment. Talking about aero engines, we are going to have our own aero engine in a very short time. It's a national mission, and this mission is being undertaken with such fervor and speed that we are going to see a scheme rolling out very soon on aero engines. And here is a time for Walter Aero Engines to step forward and find those. There are a number of technology gaps even in the engine manufacturing. And when we identify these technology gaps, I think there would be a lot of synergy for Walter Aircraft Engines and companies like that to come into India to find those small companies out there. And especially you will find so many of them. You will have options to actually pick and choose the right partner for yourself, even from a state of Tamil Nadu, because they generate a lot of options in this. And therefore, you will be able to actually come up and be ready to meet the national challenge, which is going to be, we are going to have, when we have our anchor, the advanced medium combat aircraft, we are going to have our own engine on the anchor. And therefore, at that time, we will see the number of engines that India will be producing will be to cater for the anchor, to cater for the future military aircrafts, to cater for the civil side. We already are flying about 1,800, and we are looking at more than about 2,000 odd aircraft in the next about 10 years on the civil side. So therefore, we are seeing, and all these, and when we see the regional connectivity, the UDAN scheme, and how it's going to happen in India, it is mind-blowing. The numbers are going to speak for themselves, and they generate adequate business opportunity out there. And therefore, I think here we have, from the aero segment to the land segment, host of opportunities. When you talk about either ammunition, you talk about arms, you talk about small arms, you talk about 30, 40, the medium caliber ammunition, you talk about the larger programs which are there on the anvil, like the FICV, the FRCV, the Future Ready Combat Vehicle, the Future Infantry Vehicle. So we are going to be seeing a lot of activity and a lot of energy in this sector, because there is a inherent coherent synergy that is existing between the companies which I just mentioned from the Czech Republic and a host of companies in Tamil Nadu. I was really impressed with Mr. George Fernandez when in 2003 he visited the Czech Republic and signed an agreement on defense cooperation. And like it was already mentioned, there have been about 6 such meetings, 7 meetings which have already been held. And the Czech delegation also participated in the DEF Expo, and in cooperation we have the PBS group, the RETIA, the Czech Trade Agency, the Czech Embassy. Joint exhibition was set up in DEF Expo. Both countries witnessed various high level delegations. The Czech Defense Minister, Mr. Lubomir Metnar, visited India in February 2019. The Foreign Minister, Mr. Petrik, to India in January 2020. And at the 6th edition of the Raisina Dialogue in New Delhi. The Czech Chief of Defense Forces, General Joseph Pekvar, also led a delegation to India in October 2017. Mr. Suresh Prabhu from our side, the Ministry of Railways, visited the Czech Republic in 2016. He met with the Deputy Minister and the Head of Defense Policy and Strategy Division, Mr. Jakub Bladowski. A delegation comprising of the Committee of Foreign Affairs, Defense, Security, and Security of the Senate of the Czech Parliament visited India in 2015. So I think a number of these things have happened. The College of Defense Management has visited, DRDO visited, Indo Czech Executive Roundtable we talked about. The Small Arms Survey Trade Report also mentioned, that at least 17 countries exported more than 10 million worth of small arms to Southeast Asia, amongst which was Czech. It was declared that it exported 7,629 handguns to Thailand. And the United Nations Comtrade values show 6.6 million worth of Czech pistols and revolvers in Thailand in the same period. So therefore, we are talking about all this, and all this are a requirement in the Indian environment. PBS is really impressive because an Indian company supplying aircraft engines, or auxiliary power units, environmental control systems, precision casting. In fact, when I really saw them, they had that investment casting, and such type of capability can only be multiplied, and there is adequate opportunity for us to do that in Tamil Nadu and also larger in the larger nation as such. So we had Elders, Omnipol, PZS, Tatras, UAV Association of the Czech Republic, Aircraft Industries, Primogo, all of them participated in the Aero India 2021 also. Talking about UAVs. In the UAV segment itself today, we are looking at swarms, we are looking at counter UAVs, we are looking at UAVs in all types, we are looking at UAVs, from the small UAVs till the male and the hail, and also we are looking to bridge the gap between the hail and the male in the stratosphere, so that we want to have almost an unmanned combat air patrol over there, and therefore we are looking at such interesting capabilities, which I think these companies can really meet. And not one company can meet. The demand is going to be so high, the technology is going to be so severe and demanding that we will actually require some good collaboration and an excellent relationship to take these forward. In 2012, I noticed that the bilateral trade between India and Czech itself amounted to $1 billion. The bilateral trade turnover was 1,208 million in 2015, with the balance slightly in India's favor. And that speaks very great for a country like Czech and for a country like India, where they have shown in terms of hello. Yeah. So plenty of these things have happened. I hope I've not missed much. I want to conclude now to say that there are terrific opportunities. The defense industry corridor in Tamil Nadu is a brown one. Hosur, Malaysia, Tanasia, when I see all these Trichy, Madurai, Coimbatore, Sulur, I think it's an excellent area for excellent place for Czech companies to come and participate. And the FDI policy has been so well relaxed and synergized that we can come with 74% and participate in most programs, and at 49, of course, you can participate in most of the programs. So we talked about the personal equipment, the personal protective equipment, the FRCV, FICV, T-72s, T-90 spares. We talked about radars. We talked about the S-band, Ku-band radars. We talked about fuel, air explosives, UAVs, counter UAVs, and I think the opportunities are only increasing. We have tactical UGVs. We are looking at precision guided kit for 81 mm motor ammunition. We are looking at universal electronic fuse, and the list goes on and on. I'm not here to tell the list, but ladies and gentlemen, I must tell you that there is a great amount of synergy that's possible between the two countries, between the industries of the two countries, and I wish we are able to help, because SAS partners are really one of the best consultants that I have seen so far, and their association with Sugosha, and we are ready to help in whichever way we can. We wish both the countries, the industries of both the countries, all the very best to take this initiative forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Colonel Kuber, for your 360-degree view of the opportunities that are there, both in the Tamil Nadu defense corridor as well as across the nation. I would now like to invite and request Dr. Karthikeyan IAS, the Executive Director of TIDCO, the Government of Tamil Nadu, to speak. When we had requested Dr. Karthikeyan, he had immediately agreed. He is a dynamic and a passionate leader who has really done quite a lot with regards to the development and promotion of the defense corridor in the state. I would now like to invite Dr. Karthikeyan to speak, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Vinod, for the kind words. His Excellency, Mr. Milan Hovorka, Ambassador of the Czech Republic in India, Thiru R.M. Arun, President SICI and Honorary Consul General, office bearers and members of SICI, dignitaries, guests, ladies and gentlemen, and my fellow speakers, Mr. Iqbaljit Singh, Colonel K.V. Kuber, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm pretty confident that this event today will be a milestone in cooperation between Czech Republic and India in general, and Tamil Nadu in particular, in the domain of aerospace and defense. Czech Republic has been Europe's flourishing economy, backed with a superior human capital index. It has been an export-oriented social market economy based on services, manufacturing, and innovation. Tamil Nadu, similar to Czech Republic, has been an economic, education, and industrial powerhouse of India in multiple domains, with a focus on human capital and social welfare. We are the automobile hub of India, and we aspire to be a hub for aerospace and defense industry in the areas of design, development, and manufacturing by creating an end-to-end ecosystem for the A&D sector in Tamil Nadu. The relationship between Czech Republic and Tamil Nadu in multiple domains lasts back to a long time. The contributions by the Czech scholar Kamil Svelabel in 1960s have been noteworthy. The notable being his translation of one of the most respected Tamil literature text, Tirukkural. The setting up of Tatra plant at Tamil Nadu to supply trucks to Indian Army marked the first Czech Tamil Nadu license in aerospace and defense domain. Coming back to the main topic of the road ahead for India-Czech Republic aerospace and defense industrial partnership, I would reiterate here, ladies and gentlemen, the road ahead passes through Prague and Chennai. The distance measured on the surface of the earth for this road may appear pretty long, but it's the gathering here, the pillars of the industries of Tamil Nadu and Czech Republic, which can shrink this distance manifold, aided by the support of the Czech, Indian, and Tamil Nadu governments. The Indian aerospace and defense market is poised for an aggressive growth, aided by the tailwinds and fair weather provided by the recent policy reforms. We do not want to restrict ourselves to supporting domestic requirement alone. We, as a country, have our eyes on the huge worldwide demand for aerospace and defense products. Industry members here are well aware that Tamil Nadu is the second largest economy in the country, with a strong manufacturing base growing consistently above 8% over the past 5 years. Tamil Nadu is among the most attractive investment destinations for its strategic location, conducive business environment, entrepreneurial mindset, skilled workforce, excellent logistical connectivity, state-of-the-art infrastructure, and proactive governance. It is also ranked first in Good Governance Index assessed by Government of India. In fact, it has emerged as country's top investment destination in the first quarter of this financial year, accounting for 18.6% of the investments that have flown into this country. We have been rightly identified as one of the 2 defense corridors in the country by Government of India. Tamil Nadu Defense Industrial Corridor, with 5 nodes at Chennai, Hosur, Salem, Coimbatore, and Tiruchirappalli, is strategically placed to emerge as an aerospace and defense manufacturing hub. Tamil Nadu's strength in automobiles, electronics, heavy engineering, precision manufacturing, and digital technologies will help the state to leverage the existing supplier base to cater to the needs of defense majors. Subsequently, there has been a host of initiatives to support the industry. The A&D domain, unlike the rest of domain, is characterized by high technology, low volumes, high quality, and long development and gestation periods. These have been taken into consideration by the governments while deciding the nature of support to be provided to the industry. We, as a state, want to establish common manufacturing and testing facilities in collaboration with the private industry for the benefit of MSMEs to undertake jobs and services related to A&D sector. We also would like to provide additional fiscal incentives to industries investing into the Tamil Nadu Defense Industrial Corridor. We also would like to support R&D initiatives of private industry by the way of funding the developmental costs and other costs, especially through initiatives like Center of Excellence for Emerging Technologies. Skill development through introduction of courses specifically catering to the specialized needs of the aerospace and defense industry sector. We also would like to invite and incentivize anchor units in aerospace and defense sector to set up their plants in Tamil Nadu. And Tamil Nadu is one of the first states in the country to come out with an aerospace and a defense industrial policy in the year 2019. We are currently in an advanced stage of revising this policy to make it more industry friendly. This policy is expected to be released in the near future. We are hopeful that the revised policy, which is an annual, has an attractive features that will address the requirements of the defense industry. Some of the key infrastructural intervention planned by Government of Tamil Nadu over the next 10 years include setting up of aerospace and defense parks at all 5 nodes with almost land has identified at all the areas, and aerospace park at Sri Perumbudur near Chennai is already operational. We are also developing an advanced computing and design engineering center to support A&D design and engineering needs. We are also setting up a plug-and-play manufacturing complex at Aerospace Park, Sri Perumbudur. Setting up of common facility centers at each of the nodes has been a priority for us, and this will help the MSME sector in that region to become a better part of the A&D supply chain. We are also encouraging consortia-based approach for industry to transform themselves into military-industrial complexes. We are investing in equity of promising A&D companies operating from the state. We are also supporting A&D startups financially in their quest to grow into industrial giants. Today's discussions are going to be about the partnership between Czech Republic and A&D firms of Tamil Nadu with the mutual benefit for both India and Czech Republic. Mr. Ambassador, I am confident that given the industrial might of your country and that of Tamil Nadu, this is the right combination. I can quote, for example, the credentials of L410 aeroplane to operate at low cost, high safety, and in difficult environment have been proven worldwide. I do foresee a made in India version of Czech L410 aeroplane flying across various feeder routes in the global aviation. With such penetration of such commuter airplanes, I do foresee growth of rugged surveillance radar equipments across many airfields marked with made in India, probably with the brand of Eldis radar systems. I foresee Czech MRO majors operating in collaboration with their Tamil Nadu partners, providing low cost, high quality maintenance services to the global airplane fleet. These are not dreams. These are possibilities and opportunities, the tip of an iceberg. I'm sure the industry members here have a greater vision to capitalize on these opportunities and possibilities. And I wholeheartedly thank SICKI for this wonderful initiative, being a bridge, bringing us together. The COVID-induced pandemic has brought countries together with dimmed boundaries. We as a humanity have to join hands for our individual and collective growth. The time is now for the Czech and Tamil Nadu-based companies to march together. Mr. Ambassador, and the August gathering here, on behalf of Government of Tamil Nadu, I can assure you that we would provide the right human capital, the right physical infrastructure, right physical environment, right policies, to name a few, to ensure that Czech and Tamil Nadu partnership faces absolutely no impediments. With these few words, I thank everyone for the opportunity and I conclude my address. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Karthikeyan, for your warm words. I now request His Excellency Mr. Milan Hovorka, the Ambassador of the Czech Republic in India, to deliver the chief guest address, please.
Okay. Good afternoon. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
Thank you so much, friends. And I understand that not easy times for any of us. And I tell you that I am truly excited to listen the ongoing discussion. I am really touched by the enthusiasm of those who have already spoken. And I am appreciative to each and everyone who has taken time to be with us this afternoon. And my special thanks goes to our friends from Southern India Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Definitely honorary consul of the Czech Republic, who happens to be also the president of the chamber. And I am pleased to hear that today's seminar is a kind of follow-up to the event we organized a few weeks ago, when I had the privilege to return back to beautiful Chennai, vibrant Tamil Nadu, explore the ways and means to take bilateral relations between the Czech Republic and Tamil Nadu forward. And I believe some of you have been or were in the room when we discussed the possibility of organizing something specifically dedicated to the defense sector. And today, well, we are transforming those ideas we were exchanging into practice. And for me and the entire team of the embassy, and I believe also for fellow colleagues of mine in the Czech Republic, this is a genuine testimony to the willingness of the two countries to work together with a clear objective of benefiting from the potential that exists on both sides. And I'm definitely grateful to the Chamber for helping us to increase the awareness of the potential of the state of Tamil Nadu by producing high quality inputs for today's discussions. So this is something I am truly appreciative, but at the same time, I am grateful to fellow colleagues of mine from the Czech Republic, their willingness to engage. Friends, talking about defense, I believe that we can all understand that you can develop this kind of cooperation just between trusted partners. And it has become apparent from the previous interventions and from all we have been doing over the last years, I would say decades, that the Czech Republic and India are trusted partners. And they are like-minded on so many international issues, share certain fundamental values, but are equally committed to work together with a view to winning the ongoing fight against corona pandemic. And I believe that some of you alluded to some examples of our mutual defense cooperation. And I can only agree, and at the same time refresh my memory from, and I believe I mentioned it the other day, from one of my visits to Hyderabad, when I received wonderful welcome at so-called Czech colony, which is there. And well, this colony, as I understand it, is one of the symbols of defense cooperation between India and the Czech Republic. And its history dates back to decades and decades back, when local ammunition factory established very intensive ties with their Czech counterparts. And in order to facilitate state of around 50 engineers, they built 50 beautiful bungalows. And these bungalows are still there. And that very fine part of Hyderabad bears the name of the country that I have the privilege to represent here. But I believe you will all agree if I say that it's not just about history. It is primarily about the two countries' vibrant presence and our willingness to do more. And we are in a very fortunate situation of having a number of companies which have already proved their capacity to deliver in India and to provide high quality service to local armed forces through their knowledge, technologies, and skill. And some of you named those companies, definitely Tatra Tax, CZ, PBS, Omnipol, and there are many more. And I am also grateful to friends from the chamber that they commented on a very proactive approach we have been taking over the last couple of years by attending all major defense and aerospace events organized here in India. And we are absolutely right to say that we were among those who have not given up and who have honored their commitment to attend Aero India 2021 in February, earlier this year. And I believe that that bold concept of establishing the Tamil Nadu defense corridor is a unique opportunity for all of us. And I believe that the Czech companies would be genuinely interested in sparing time to understand better its objectives, to see what are the possibilities, and definitely to take appropriate decisions with a view to bringing their knowledge and competence closer to the potential partners. And when talking about potential partners, definitely I don't have in mind just armed forces as India has opened the sector. I do have definitely in mind also private businesses, which I believe will be playing increasingly important role. So if you don't mind, I will bring my intervention to an end. When talking about companies that have been doing tremendous job here, definitely I omitted Eldis. But looking at the present participation of those Czech companies which are with us, these are perfect examples of the best entrepreneurial spirit. And I would like to use this opportunity to assure our dearest friends in Tamil Nadu that the entire team of the embassy, our trade offices in Bengaluru and Mumbai, we will do our utmost to facilitate. We are at your disposal, and we will definitely spare no effort with a view to enhancing the awareness of the existing opportunities and bring the people together. Finally, and once again, thank you so much. This is how we should organize our lives these days. If we can't meet each other in person, let us meet virtually. And let us do it as often as we can. We have learned a lot over the last couple of months in this regard. And definitely, once again, our sincerest gratitude to Mr. Aaron, his team, definitely Mr. Johnson, friends from the chamber. And you should also know that I personally value your friendship and your commitment to engage. I wish all participants productive exchanges. Definitely, we are with India in these very difficult times. I have been talking to Prime Minister of the Czech Republic, Andrej Babiš, last night. He has been following the events very closely, and definitely we are in touch with our Indian friends with a view to considering the possibilities of helping friendly India in this very difficult moments. Please stay safe. Let us keep in touch, and I look forward to having another opportunity. And when bringing my intervention to an end, I'm definitely not leaving the meeting, and if needed, I'll be more than happy to intervene or respond eventually any question you may have. So once again, thank you so much. Stay safe, and thank you much for your attention.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you so much for your warm words, and we most definitely look forward to welcoming you in Chennai in person soon. And we are certain that with your support and the support of Mr. A.R.M. Arun, our president, we would be working closely with your embassy towards the various events in the lead up to MSV, hopefully with a business delegation from Chennai to the Czech Republic. At this juncture, I would now like to request Mr. A.R.M. Arun, President, Southern India Chamber of Commerce, to release the second report for the day, the report that chronicles the India and the Czech Republic's cooperations and the road ahead. So may I now request Mr. Arun to release the report, please.
Am I audible, Vinod?
Yes, you are, please.
Thank you. Before I continue, I would like to appreciate the kind words of His Excellency, Ambassador Hovorka. Certainly, there is a lot that Chennai and Tamil Nadu and the Czech Republic can move forward on in developing the defense corridor, which is the second one in our state. There is a lot that we can do, not just concerning government, but as you rightfully said, going after private industry as well, which is where there's so much of activity that can be gone after, especially among MSMEs. In fact, one of the focus areas within SICI is to be able to encourage MSMEs within the aerospace and defense sector. I'm glad that Mr. Jay of Česká Provoška is also with us today. Glad to have you with us. We certainly want to do everything that we can to encourage this partnership among Tamil Nadu and the Czech Republic. Ambassador, I would also like to appreciate your kind words where you had mentioned about the concern that the Czech Prime Minister, Mr. Babiš, had towards India's ongoing pandemic, and certainly appreciate your support as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I now have the pleasure of talking to you about the second report that SICI would like to release today. As my colleague, Mr. Vinod Solomon, had said, this report talks about the India and Czech Republic partnership and the way forward. This covers not just defense and aerospace, but most importantly, the area of heavy engineering as well, which is quite widespread, and the Czech Republic has a tremendous presence within it. This report talks about various suggestions that we can have for both countries to take things forward in the time to come, and also has a specific focus given for taking within Tamil Nadu about the potential that is here and what it offers to Czech companies as well. So here is this report. Again, we will be sharing it with all of you, and we would certainly like your comments. This report was assisted by SAS partners again. We are very thankful of their partnership with us. So I take great pleasure in releasing this report on behalf of SICI, and certainly look forward to your comments.
Thank you, President. Friends, we will move forward with the next session. So we would be having presentations by various Czech companies. So this session would go on for another next 30 minutes, followed by the panel discussion. So though we are running a little late, I would request all participants to stay with us and be a part of the rich knowledge sharing that we have in store for you. I would also like to inform you that we would be having a B2B session with these companies, preferably the next week. We would be informing you of the actual time and date. So this is not an event that we get the knowledge output and we move on, but this will be an ongoing interaction, and we would stay connected and engaged even in the days to come. So we will have the presentations by the Czech companies. We would start with the STV Group, then Space No, Technicoat, Free Horizons, TCZ, and TechniServe. So I would like to request the Czech companies to keep their presentations to 2-3 minutes, as brief as possible, as we are slightly behind schedule. So I would first like to request Mr. Yuri. Yeah.
Yes, I'm here. Do you hear me, please?
Yeah. Please go ahead. STV Group?
It's Free Horizon.
Okay, please go ahead. From Free Horizons, Mr. Yu.
Okay, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for this opportunity to introduce you very shortly what the company Free Horizons is doing. Company is developing and producing fully autonomous drones, and namely specifically developed tethered station. I will share with you a very short presentation in PowerPoint. Could you see it?
No, we are not able to. If you can share the screen, please.
Oh. Still nothing?
No, we are not able to see your screen. You have the rights if you can share the screen.
Okay. Is it better?
Yeah, now we are able
to see the screen.
Yeah, now we see that. Please go ahead.
Well, okay. Company Free Horizons is producing autonomous drones and specific software for them. Namely, as you will see, the tethered station, which is a specific tool for keeping drones in the air for many hours, or if it's necessary, also many days. This tethered station is very durable, water resistant, and easily movable because the weight is just about 37 kilograms. Power is starting from 3 up to 9 kilowatts, and the cable which is leading from this tethered station to the drone can carry this energy up to 50 or 200 meters. It depends on the power and the drone. What is different between another similar products is that this tethered station is fully autonomous. There is only one button which can switch on off, and everything else is done by this tethered station, which is computer driven. Also, it's possible to load this station to the car, or for example to the boat, and switch on so-called follow me function, and the drone in the wished altitude will follow this tethered station where the car or boat will move. What is important, our station is universal. It means that only changing the air unit, we can tether all drones which are on the market and are equipped with the so-called smart batteries. Also, our Free Horizons types of drones, DJI matrices, DJI Inspire, and many others. It means that this tethered station can be used independently on our own drones. Means that if somebody has a fleet of drones, there is not necessary to change these drones and spend a lot of money for a new one, but can use this tethered station for surveillance, for protecting objects or perimeters. Also, our company is producing a specific type of drones which are very durable and water resistant, are made from carbon fiber and has a Kevlar hood, meaning that these drones are almost bulletproof from small weapons. Weight is about 17 kilos, and these smaller drones are namely intended for long time surveillance of perimeter or buildings, mines, and similar things. The bigger one is so-called Argus Predator, which is could be used, for example. Hello?
Mr. Giri, your presentation slides are not moving.
Yes, I will short it.
Yeah.
Okay. As I told, our drones are very, very durable, and we can deliver these drones with our tethered station. Also, some questions was sent to me for answer to you and the companies who are attending this presentation. We in Czech Republic are familiar with the Indian so-called initiative Make in India, and our company, and I believe that other companies from Czech Republic are ready to be connected to this initiative. Also, thank you for your attention, and if you will have any question, please use this addresses written here. Can send us an email or simply ask now. Thank you for your attention. Bye.
Thank you so much. May now request TechniServe, Mr. Indrik Fornacek, to make the presentation, please.
Good morning and good afternoon, Mr. President and Mr. Ambassador, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, please go ahead.
And I hope you can see the presentation as well.
Yes, we are able, please.
Okay, perfect. My name is Jindřich Fornusek, and I'm representative of a company called Techniserv, which was founded in 1991, and so it has 30 years of experiences especially in the Czech Republic and in Europe as well. Okay. Our main activities are based in consulting, design and engineering, maintenance activities, and system administration. Our specializations are telecommunications and transmission systems, radio monitoring, and especially everything which is connected to information technology, electromagnetic shielding, security systems, and what we also do is designs and engineering of low current and electrical engineering. We have plenty of certificates and authorizations, like what you can see, ISO 9001 and plenty of others. But the most important are certificates from Civil Aviation Authority. We have also approval of Ministry of Defense. And we have also certificate of National Security Authority for the level of secret. Our main customers are Ministry of Defense, Air Navigation Services, airports, and telecommunication office. I think that I will show you some references which can best show you our main focus of our company. We've been doing some big project like automated system for radio spectrum monitoring. Here you can see some fixed remote controlling monitoring station. Here you can see transportable monitoring stations and monitoring vehicles. Another project was ARCOM and ILS, which we made in the airport at Ostrava, which is draw and build. And we are also doing this at the airports like Pardubice and Karlovy Vary and other ones. You can see some parts of it, like glide paths and localizers. We've also been doing reconstruction of radar location at Prague Airport, now called Václav Havel Airport. And also some reconstruction of radar location at hill called PSEC. Our big project was also a National Integrated Air Traffic Control Center, which was, I think, like 10 years or 15 years ago. And we've done some designs there and designs and equipment of this air traffic control center. We are also focused in electromagnetic shielding chambers. Here you can see some chambers from LOM Praha and from the I think it's a training center for aircrafts. Here you can see another structure of electromagnetic shielding chambers. And because I was told to be short, so that was a brief presentation. And here you can see contact on me and on our company. Thank you for your attention, and thank you for the opportunity to present our company here at this Indian-Czech meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your presentation introducing your company. May I now request Mr. Philip from Space No to share his presentation, please.
Absolutely. So hello, everybody. It is a great pleasure to be here with you today and have the opportunity to present our company, Space No. I will share my screen and start the presentation. So hopefully you are seeing the slides and hearing my voice.
Yes, loud and clear.
Perfect. So I am the Vice President of our Defense and Intelligence Division at a company called SpaceNo. We are a data analytics provider where we utilize the latest techniques and methodology in artificial intelligence and machine learning to analyze satellite imagery and turn this analytics into actionable insights for our users. We are based in Prague and we have offices in New York. We have been focusing on developing and bringing this technology to market for the last 7 years. We have developed capabilities in 3 domains. So our first domain is economic insights, where we utilize the power of analytics of satellite imagery to provide indexes of economic and industrial activity in countries and industries around the world. But more focused and relevant for today is our capabilities in defense and intelligence, where we focus on providing automated AI-based solutions to the military intelligence community. And specifically, we help military intelligence analysts to understand the vast amount of information that comes from satellites collecting images of the Earth every day, really understanding on what is happening on these images, and really help decision makers make the best decisions in support of military operations, either at home, so for domestic security, or in terms of the kind of international operational activities. Typically, our customers are then military intelligence, other intelligence agencies, and security organizations. We also perform custom analytics projects where we can really use our know-how to provide custom analytic solutions focused on change detections, segmentations, activity monitoring, and many more. And these projects are typically done for government, for private companies, for example, in construction, in oil and gas, mining industries, and many more. Our solution works by the way that we deploy our analytics capability on imagery that is provided either from commercial providers or from military satellites. We as a company, we do not own any satellites. We purely work with the imagery and then deliver the analytics that is made on the imagery. In kind of our defense applications, users can select their specific areas of interest. They select the type of analysis to be performed, so the type of algorithms that we deploy, and then they can operate the whole analysis and understanding process through our very user-friendly software and interface, which can be either delivered as analytics as a service, so through cloud, or with some of our customers, we can deploy the full solution as a software and a hardware package, and that also includes technology transfer. This is, for us, the preferred way of cooperation on a potential delivery in India, respecting the made in India policy and kind of the low capabilities of local industry. In terms of the actual interface, so here's an example of how the platform looks like. We call it the Defense Dashboard, and it really is a specific state-of-the-art image intelligence and geo-intelligence solution, where you are really able to analyze in detail an area of interest. It can be an airport, it can be a harbor, it can be hundreds of square kilometers of land, where you have a specific mission. Either you want to analyze what platforms are there, how many, you can monitor changes over a given time period, and you can use all of this information to make your decisions. The aim really is to decrease the human-intensive imagery data analysis, make this automatic, so that humans can focus on the high value-added activity, which is making recommendations, putting the information into the whole context, and then supporting the planning and performance of operations. We have a little bit of an example of how the output can look like. So we have a threat level monitoring example where we have used and deployed our algorithms to detect and analyze activity at an airport in the Middle East, where the result was a detection of multiple Ilyushin 76 aircraft, which you can see on the right with some additional information about the capabilities of the aircraft, and that this analysis and further investigation allowed decision-making regarding the threat level assessment, and then informed readiness activities of the local armed forces. It's a great pleasure to be able to present today, represent our company, and we would love to talk to you further. Specifically, as I mentioned, we would be most looking for partnerships with companies that can help us build the whole solution, where we focus primarily on providing the software and providing the technology know-how and IP, and where we would love the local partner to have established connections, help us manage the project, and take care of all the hardware infrastructure that needs to be put in place to support the intelligence community. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, I'm available at this email, or you can also ask me through chat. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much for your presentation. May now request Ms. Hanna Rihoa from Technicode to make her presentation, please. We'll now have the presentation by Sir Yuri from the STV group. You're able to see a screen. If you can maximize it, and please, if you can just go ahead, please.
Hello, can you hear me, please?
Yeah, we are able to hear you. If you can expand the screen, make it, maximize it, and you can take us forward, please.
Okay, so for first, good afternoon to Chennai. I would like to thank to His Excellency Mr. Hovorka and Mr. Arun for organization of this nice meeting. And let me shortly present company STV Group. Company was originally based as a commercial company, but step by step we bought production facilities. Currently in Czech Republic we have few production facilities on different places. Activities of company are standing on several legs, from food to explosives. Yeah. Our main concern just now and main program is production and repairs of Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. Okay. Can I go on? Yes.
Please go ahead.
So our main program is production and repairs of military equipment, and especially of heavy vehicles. Yeah, we have long-term contract for maintenance for Czech Army, for BMP-2, and for self-propelled howitzers. We are producing large caliber ammunition, small caliber ammunition. We are producing bulletproof products as a vest and helmets. Also, we have civilian program. We are repairing parts for buses. Also, we are producing some kind of medium calibers ammunition and grenades for RPG-7. One of very important program is utilization of not used ammunition. And no, it's not possible to control from our side. Okay, we are active in cooperation to India. We have digital signature, and we are registered at tender portal of India Ministry of Defense. We are delivering some military equipment to Ministry of Defense of India, and also what could be interesting for India companies, we are buying military material from India, especially parts for BMP-2 tanks and T-72 tanks. We are prepared to extend our cooperation to India. We are very interested in it, and we are open to any suggestion or request from India companies. Also, what could be interesting for India companies, it is our possibility and our know-how for work with explosive. We have program for engineer explosive for army and also for civilian purposes, for mining and for building destroyers, etc. We have know-how for utilization of ammunition of all calibers. Yeah. And we are doing it for neighboring countries, especially, of course, because of transport costs. So in short, it is basic information about our possibilities. Our company is growing up. Thank you for information about targets of your state and of India in general. It is very interesting, and we will be pleased to be allowed to participate in it. Thank you for your attention, and if you would have more question for us, please turn to us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. May I now request if representatives from either Technicoat or from TCZ, is any of them available here for the presentation?
Perfect.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Marek Hrstka. I'm a sales manager from TCZ. Do you hear me and can you see my presentation, please?
Yes to both. Please go ahead.
Okay, perfect. So TCZ is a well-established company from originally from Prague and with the production plant in Pardubice. And we are delivering radar and radio systems pretty much all over the world. References are from South Korea, Indonesia, Czech Republic, Slovak, and other countries. Please visit our website or feel free to contact us via our contacts that you can find in the presentation. Our main activities are in research, development, design, installations. We have our own R&D center, production plant, and also test laboratories in Pardubice. Our main company's activities are pretty much radar systems, radios, and engineering as well. In the radar systems, currently our main activities are in precision approach radars. We already have partner in India. We've been able to already sign a contract for delivering precision approach radars in India. That we are very happy for that. But we are still open and looking for business development with ADSB and monitoring system 1030, 1090. That I think so is our main product right now that should be more developed in the India market as well, following the Eurocontrol established law. In radio communication systems, we are well established here in Czech Republic, Slovak Republic, and other countries around in the middle of the Europe. We have vehicle radio stations, railway radio systems, and recording equipment as well. We are also open and welcome any contacts that would be interested in. And we have also some additional programs. We have pretty much know-how for the antenna devices here in TCZ, as we are actually continuing in the tradition from the Tesla that actually we've separated from here in the Czech Republic. We have also our main mechanical production line, and also we are open to test laboratory to our partners that we can actually have make a good relationship with them. So thank you. Please feel free to visit our website, or you can visit or write me through my personal contacts. And please, I'm welcome.
Thank you so much for your presentation. May I now request the representatives from Technicode to make their presentation, please. Samant, we're unable to hear you. Sorry, if Mr. Samant, we're unable to hear you. In the interest of time, can I request you, Mr. Savant, to, if possible, if we can log out and log back in, we will move ahead with a panel discussion, and we can have your presentation at the end of the panel so that we save time and we are able to get all things done. So I would like to move ahead. So we will now move on to the panel discussion. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have an excellent panel full of eminent experts of the domain put across for you. So, to take us forward in the panel session and to lead a lively discussion in this subject area, I would now like to request Mr. Vijay Kumar. He's the advisor for SAS Partners. Mr. Vijay Kumar, he's an industry veteran. He wears multiple hats. He is an economist, he's a trade facilitation expert, and he has worked decades together with the Dutch Trade Office. And we are happy that Vijay is here to enliven the discussion and take the things forward. Over to you, Vijay. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everybody. I think though we are delayed by about half an hour, I don't think any of you would have realized it because the first two sessions are so interesting. The inaugural session we had, of course, His Excellency the Ambassador himself, and we had Dr. Karthikeyan from TIDCO, we had Mr. Kuber from Sugosha and from Invest India. So we had excellent speakers who really enriched this whole webinar by their discussions. Mr. Baines, also Mr. Kuber, and of course the President of Southern India Chamber, Mr. Harun. What we will do is now we'll have a short panel discussion. We have again some very good people in the panel. We have Mr. Jakub Jaros, who's the Economic and Commercial Counselor of the Czech Embassy based in New Delhi. Then we have Mr. Ramchandran, who's Managing Director of Mel Systems and Services Limited, which is a Chennai-based company from the Murugappa Group. Mr. Peter Motel is Group Director for Sales and Strategy, PVS Group, Czech Republic. PVS Group is also based in, has operations in India based out of Bangalore. And then we have a Wing Commander, Mr. P. Madhusudan, retired, who's the Aerospace and Defense Expert Consultant to the Tamil Nadu Industrial Development Corporation. Thank you very much for joining this. Indeed, it's a pleasure to moderate this session. And I will start with Mr. Jakub Jaros. Mr. Jaros, good to see you again, though this time virtually. Last month you were in Chennai. I've noticed that you and the Czech Embassy have been extremely active, and you've been interacting a lot, doing a lot of. You've been involved in.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, you can hear me. Yes, okay. You've been involved in so many activities relating to trade and investment. I noticed that you participated in the Aero Show. You participated in Rail Connect. You also, we did webinars with the Karnataka, with Bangalore. You did a similar trade and investment webinar in October with the Southern India Chamber of Commerce, and you came to Chennai a month ago in March. In fact, it was very, very impressive to see the list of activities that the Czech Embassy has been active in. My question to you would be, Mr. Yaros is, how many Czech companies are there in India, and how many of them are in the aerospace and defense field?
Mr. Kumar, thank you very much. I will definitely respond to your question, but may I have a suggestion? I have a very short presentation prepared on doing business with the Czech Republic. May I just present? I promise I will try to be very brief. I'll try to do it in 5-6 minutes, but I think it could be quite useful for the Indian companies. Okay, and then I'll get back to your questions. So can you see my screen?
Yes. No. Sorry.
Okay. Do you see my presentation?
No, not yet. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, honorable dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jakub Jaroš. I'm the Commercial and Economic Counselor of the Czech Embassy in New Delhi, and I have a very, very short presentation for you on doing business with the Czech Republic. So, as you are all aware of, the Czech Republic is located in Central Europe, surrounded by our four neighbors, Germany, Poland, Austria, and Slovakia. And the basic economic data, which I'm going to give you, are pretty straightforward. We had negative growth last year. We had minus 0.58, actually decline of GDP due to the COVID pandemic. But the good news here is that the estimate for this year is actually a return to a modest growth of 2.2%. Our unemployment rate is rather moderate, 4%, and inflation last year was 3.2%. The Czech economy, here you have some basic statistics about the Czech economy. I'm not going to dwell too much on the numbers because the presentations will be shared afterwards with the participants, so you can look into it in more detail. The important point to stress here, I think, is that Czech Republic is ranked as a very, very good destination for doing business. It actually has a rank of 41. So out of some 190 countries, it's ranked very close to the top. You can see for your comparison our neighbors and the regional average. So let me give you a few reasons for investing in the Czech Republic. First of all, we have a highly developed business and investment environment. So there is a broad range of government incentives and support for FDI. It's very easy and fast to establish a company in the Czech Republic. And there is a high level of intellectual property rights and investor protection in the Czech Republic. We also have a highly qualified workforce and still comparably low wages and salaries. And we do have a very developed transport and logistics infrastructure. And as you could see from the previous map, of course, being so centrally located makes the Czech Republic the gateway to Europe. We are furthermore a member of the European Union and of NATO, and there is political stability and predictability for companies and for businessmen in the Czech Republic. And last but not least, it is a great environment for living. So the trade, the Czech Republic is a very, very trade-oriented producer. Actually, about 80% of what we produce is being exported abroad. And we are a very small and very open economy. Here you can see some of the statistics. I'm not gonna stay too long with this slide, but you can see that bilateral trade has been hovering around 1.5 billion US dollars in the last couple of years, with a surplus of Indian export to the Czech Republic and a decreasing Czech export to India, which has led to a growth of trade imbalance. So we are exporting from India much more than we are exporting to India much more than we do actually import from India. So here you can see some of the investors from Czechia in India. So that, coming back to your question, this gives you an idea about the companies that are operational in India. There are about 25 to 30 Czech companies that are to varying degrees active in India. Most of them have a local establishment, a local branch and production facilities in the country. And out of these companies, you can see that defense and aerospace related are a couple of them. You can definitely pick out Tatra, you can pick out Flying Academy. You can also pick up Gearspect and a couple of other countries. I think Eldis is missing from this overview, but Eldis has a big operation presence in India as well. Here you see investors from India to Czechia. Again, as I said, the presentations will be shared, so you can look into it afterwards. I don't want to spend too much time on it since we're really running late. This should give you an overview of the products of the Czech aviation industry. Most of the companies and the products have already been mentioned, and frankly speaking, I was very impressed by the level of knowledge that was shown by Colonel Kuber and by Mr. Aaron previously. They have really described the Czech industry very, very well and in great detail. So these slides should only serve as a sort of illustration for you. I'm not going to go into detail in the sake of saving time. Again, radar systems, they have been mentioned here. The biggest radar company active in India is Eldis, whose systems are basically covering up to 90% of Indian airspace. This just to give you an idea about defense companies and products that are being used in India. Of course, the biggest success story so far has been Tatra. I believe there's thousands of Tatra trucks in operation in the Indian Army today. We also export and manufacture firearms, guns, and pistols in India, if I'm not mistaken. And this is a very practical slide because what you see here is the Security and Defense Technology Catalog, which is published by the Defense and Security Industry Association of the Czech Republic, which is the largest industry association for defense and aerospace. They have over 100 members, and annually they produce this catalog, and it's a very elaborate and very detailed publication. You can actually find company profiles of their members and a detailed description of their product portfolios and also contact details. And I think that's it. My presentation has miraculously disappeared from the screen, but I was basically at the end of the presentation anyway, so we can proceed with the discussion. Thank you very much for your attention. I can't really hear you.
Vijay, you're muted. Vijay, you're muted. Can you please unmute yourself?
Hello, can you hear me now? 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 Hello, hello.
Vijay, please go ahead. We could hear you, but there was an echo. Vijay, sorry, you're muted again. Can you please unmute and speak?
Yes, can you hear me now? 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 Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We
There
can
is an echo in your voice. Can you please try logging out and logging in?
Yeah.
Vijay, can you please log out and log back in? Vijay, can you unmute and speak, please? Or if you can shut off your video and just speak.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, loud and clear. Please go ahead.
Yeah, there seems to be some, I don't know, problem with the computer or whatever. I kept getting a message saying you cannot unmute yourself. So that's why I was trying to contact you. Extremely sorry for this interruption. Thanks very much, Mr. Yaras, for your very interesting presentation. You talked about the opportunities to invest in the Czech Republic, but I would like to ask you the reverse. How interested are Czech companies to invest in India, and especially in the aerospace and defense sector? And again, also with reference to Tamil Nadu. Could you tell us something about that?
Well, I believe they are very interested actually in investing and in establishing operations in Tamil Nadu, because our understanding is that Tamil Nadu is the industrial powerhouse of India and has a very strong automotive, electronics, and other industries. So it's very easy to see the connection and the jump it could make from these industries towards the defense and aerospace industries. And I believe that actually the pillars of this sector are already on the ground. And as we have heard and seen today throughout the very interesting and informative presentations of the representative of Titko and Colonel Kuber and other presentations, it is very easy to see that there is strong government support for further development of the defense and aerospace sector in Tamil Nadu. And actually, of course, we have mentioned these things over and over again. The highlights, the biggest success stories of Czech defense and aerospace companies in India, Eldis, Tatra, but also PBS Group, which is strongly invested and very active in India. And we are very lucky to have a representative of PBS group here, Mr. Petr Motil, who is the business development director of PBS India, and who can share with us his experiences and insight about doing business and investing in this sector in India. So I would like to use this opportunity and pass the floor to him to share with us these experiences.
Yes, hello. Hello, do you hear me, please? Yeah. Okay. Hello and all the best to India, to everybody, to all of you, and all the best, in special with my Ganesha to your nation, yeah, in the difficult times. Yeah. So only just I'm from PBS, which is the company who delivered in India market already 50 years, 50 years. We delivered already something in India, especially in the history like the turbines and so on. And our brand name is certified in India 50 or 60 years approximately, from 1955 in Kolkata. So now we established the PBS India company in Bangalore, and we are delivering the engines for the aircrafts, UAVs, and helicopters like that. Yeah, for example, for this kind of helicopters, this is our Indian Air Force is our customer, one of the biggest one, of course, and they are the engines for the UAVs, yeah, unmanned aerial vehicles. They are just examples. So we are in India. We would like to stay there a long time. We are 200 years old company, Czech-based company, and we have some activities in America, some another company in USA and in India, because it's we trust very much in this country and in the potential. I know the Chennai because we were on DEF Expo 3 years ago in Chennai the last time. We participate on Aero India's and these issues. And what we offer is the engines for the aircrafts, missiles, and this kind of applications. Another, they are APUs, which are electrical modules for the helicopters and aircraft big engines, and cryogenic maybe can be interesting. We are producing the cryogenic products, which are pumps for very, very low temperatures, for example, for the space programs and this kind of issues. So now we are based in Bangalore. We operate very much in New Delhi, of course, because there is a Indian Air Force headquarters. So we are very interesting there, and we are working with your 3BRD in Chandigarh, which is repair centers for all helicopters, in all Russian Indian helicopters. Yeah. We are ready to invest in India, but of course, I must say, we need to have a good support from the government and from organizations like you are, yeah, from associations and so on. We are ready to support local activities like universities, students, and so on, know-how sharing and so on. But of course, sometimes the administration is not very easy in India. Sometimes, of course, it's taking long time, very much. And now with COVID, and we are very limited in access to India. So which is very there are some big delays. But I would like to say that India for us is a big. I see India as a big potential, and maybe this. India for us is something like the gate to next activities in Southeast Asia. That's important, yeah, because countries like Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, and so on, there is another potential for us for re-export, for example. So I'm very interested to get some contacts for your organization to understand what you can do for us because of taxes, duties, and so on to make efficiency, to develop the delivery channel and so on, and to understand, because there were many changes last year in the case of GST and IGST and big reductions. And some of today's participants, we know some of your companies who participate today on your meeting. For example, Max Aerospace, welcome. If there is somebody, for example, Larsen Tubro is there as a member of today. So we would like to build the best partnerships with India, but must be the win-win strategy for us and for you, of course, because it's a business. We have a good products, and we would like to support your country by our products. It's from my side.
Much for that message of yours. I'd now like to go on to, Mr. Wing Commander Madhusudan from from TIDCO, from the Tamil Nadu Industrial Development Corporation. Mr. Wing Commander Madhusudan, you are currently the aerospace and defense expert consultant for TIDCO and for the implementation of the Tamil Nadu Defense Industrial Corridor. You have seen how positive both Mr. Yaros has been now and also Mr. Motul about India and about the aerospace and defense space in India. Could you tell us a little bit more about what the Tamil Nadu government is planning to do, especially since the new industrial policy mentions the aerospace and defense as well as the sunrise sectors? What are the plans, what are the incentives, and what is the infrastructure that the Tamil Nadu government is planning to provide for the aerospace and defense industry?
Thanks a lot, Mr. Vijay. I think I'm audible.
Yes, very clear.
Okay, that's wonderful. I would use the military language. If I'm audible, strength 5, I will go ahead. Let me divide this answer into multiple aspects. First thing is what the Tamil Nadu government offers. In this, I would say that for an aerospace industry to take off in Tamil Nadu, there are two things which are primarily needed. First is the infrastructure on the ground, in which a government can play a big role. And second thing is the willingness of industries to come and operate here. So first, we are concentrating quite a bit on creating the infrastructure on the ground to help the A&D industries. To an extent, Tamil Nadu has been leading when it comes to the infrastructure. We are the second in India in terms of GDP. We have the largest number of industries in the country. We have over 11 lakh people employed in the industries. We have a large number of industrial estates, and we are a power surplus state. Apart from that, we are also a very investor-friendly aerospace and industrial state with a dedicated aerospace and defense policy, which was brought out in the year 2019. And as Dr. Karthikeyan mentioned earlier in the day, we are in the process of making it much more sweeter for industries to come and set up shop here. Each 5 nodes of the Defense Industrial Corridor have been identified based on their capability, and they have a mature ecosystem, and they can support aerospace and defense industries' needs in totality. The Tamil Nadu Defense Industrial Corridor offers a greater multiplier for offset obligations, which has been provided by the central government. And we as a state have identified that in case the smaller companies have to become suppliers or have become part of the supply chain in the aerospace and defense, there's a need of lot of facilities and testing centers. So we are planning to put up a lot of common facilities and common test centers at all the 5 nodes, which can be used by the industries which are based out of these nodes. And this would assist the companies in testing and prototyping products. And most importantly, Tamil Nadu government may be a co-investor in projects wherever it finds it interesting and wherever it finds that this particular investment could act as a catalyst for the entire aerospace and defense industry here. And I don't need to repeat it, but still I need to brag about my state quite a bit. When it comes to, we are well connected in national highways, state highways. There are 4 railway divisions here. We have an excellent railway network within the city of Chennai and in the other cities. There are 4 international airports in the city, in the state. Probably we are equal only by the state of Kerala, which has equal number of international airports. There are 3 more domestic airports. There are 3 major ports out of a total of 8 major ports in the country. There are 15 minor ports also. That means we have a very good connectivity to within the country and out of the country. Human capital availability wise, we have more than about 60 industries. We produce about 160,000 engineers every year, out of which about 5,000 are aerospace engineers. We have about 600 engineering colleges, about 500 polytechnics, about 550 ITIs. I may be off this number by a small margin, but this is where we stand. And we have a high literacy rate of about 80%. Of course, we are nowhere near Czechoslovakia, though near the Czech Republic, where though we would aspire to be at 99%, we are at about 80%, which is much higher than the national average. Plus, this is from the infrastructure point of view. And as I said earlier, we are also in the process of providing fiscal incentives to industries which want to invest in the industrial corridor. We have a lot of incentives which have been brought out, which are very clearly available in the 2019 industrial policy. And as I mentioned earlier, 21 policy, which is going to be released in the near future, that's going to incentivize it much more. And we also realize that today's startups, today's R&D are the ones which are going to bloom into larger companies in the future. So we are going to take part in the development cost, prototyping cost. We also understand that skilling of manpower is a very, very important thing. And we as a state, TIDCO as a nodal agency for implementing the Defense Industrial Corridor are ready to invest into skill development. And when it comes to major A&D units, in case there is an anchor unit which is willing to implement their project here, let's say, I'm just giving off the cuff, if in case Eldis or aircraft industries wants to set up their facility here, we would have a different set of packages for these anchor industries, because it is these anchor industries which is going to create an entire supply chain. So there is a separate incentive package which is available for these sort of anchor industries.
Sir, you're on mute, sir.
Am I audible? I think I was inaudible for a while.
Yeah, you are fine, sir. Mr.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you'd finished, sir. Please.
Okay. Since I was not getting a feedback, I had this one. Not only that, we have already set up an aerospace and defense park at Sriperumbudur, which is doing very fine. Yes, we don't have a large OEM. Let's say we don't have a Lockheed Martin or a Safran here, but we have large number of companies operating out of Sriperumbudur, Chennai Aerospace Park, and we would be setting up aerospace and defense park in all the 5 nodes. So this is going to create a wonderful ecosystem for all companies from all over the world, particularly for the Czech industries, to come and set up their facilities to supply to the Indian market as well as to the global market. I don't think it's very far off before Tamil Nadu becomes the supply, the manufacturing base for aerospace and defense items for this part of the world, be it the Middle East, Far East, Africa. We are well located in this region along the Indian Ocean, wherein probably the Czech companies can look at us very positively to set up their secondary bases, or probably why not even primary bases. The companies may be still based on Czech Republic. I'm done, Vijay. In case there are any specific items which you want me to cover, I can talk about that.
Vijay, sir, you're on mute.
So, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
There seems to be some issue with this. It keeps it keeps going on mute and keeps asking me to unmute. Mr. Ramchandran, as you know, you've been in the electronics industry for a very long time. You have tremendous experience, and now you're heading the Murkapa Group's MEL Systems and Services. I noticed from your website that MEL is in a number of very interesting areas. Could you tell us something about about the company and I noticed that you're into defense development projects, re-engineering, obsolescence management, design, development and manufacturing, indigenization, and so on. And these are all extremely interesting areas for a number of companies that are looking to set up in Tamil Nadu. Could you tell us a little bit about your journey, about how you got into the defense-related projects, and what is it that your vision is for Tamil Nadu?
Good afternoon, Vijay. Thank you very much. A brief introduction to our company. Of course, we have been in defense business probably for almost 30 plus years, defense business. We started off with building some test systems for defense, primarily in the area of their electronic board testing and LRU testing. That was our initial products, very widely used in Indian defense. So we've been at it for, as you said, more than 30 years. Of course, based on our experience, I can tell our Czech friends that, we have come a long way in terms of the Indian defense. I think Colonel Kuber articulated quite well in terms of how things have changed, and the environment is really good for investments in the defense industry in India today. Apart from testing, we also develop and build some products. We have built airborne video recorder for Mirage as a replacement. Then we have done a lot of work for the Cochin shipyard in they are building the new aircraft carriers. They built some communication equipment for the Cochin shipyard. So we take on project basis and then work with Indian defense. Working with defense, I think you need a lot of patience. I think Mr. Peter Motil mentioned that in his brief talk, I guess. So, we have had that patience for 30 years, and we are now looking forward to a different future where things will move really fast. And so we have we are really looking forward to increasing our business in the area of testing. In fact, we are going to start building a high-end functional tester, which has been so far imported, and this is going to be very useful for the Indian defense. The imported testers are already, similar testers are already used in testing radar systems in Bharat Electronics, which we are going to indigenize and manufacture it in Chennai. So we are really looking forward to a lot of things, and I must say that the Tamil Nadu government is doing a great job in promoting aerospace industry in Tamil Nadu with their aerospace park in Chennai. I think they are investing quite a lot of money to build ready-made infrastructure in that park, which will be very interesting for the Czech companies to look at, because they're going to provide a lot of plug and play facilities in that park. And so I think future looks really bright for Tamil Nadu A&D scene here. And so we are looking, as a company, we are looking forward to a lot of positive expectations into the future here.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Mr. Natarajan. That was very interesting. Now, since we don't have that much time, I'd just like to ask one follow-up question to each of the panelists. I'd like to go back to Mr. Yaros. Mr. Yaros, Your message was very positive, and you were very happy about the synergies that you see with Tamil Nadu, India, and the Czech Republic. And as we mentioned, the SAS partners in our report, we mentioned very clearly about the areas of synergy, such as engineering, defense, electronics, automotive, medical equipment. All these are very good sectors in Tamil Nadu. Would you be looking at when times are better? Let's put it that way. When times are better, would you be looking at trying to get a business mission from the Netherlands to India and to Tamil Nadu from the aerospace and defense sector?
I can say absolutely yes. We are absolutely positive about this. Obviously now it's not the time to organize such a mission or delegation.
Absolutely.
But we are looking into it, and we hope that the second half of this year, the situation will stabilize here, and that we will actually be able to organize something like that. This is what we do. This is our job of the embassy, and we are really keen in organizing missions, either both ways, missions and delegations from the Czech Republic to India, or the other way around, so-called incoming missions. And we would be very happy to be able to organize a delegation with Tamil Nadu in the second half of the year. And let me get back to the previous question very shortly. I'm 100% positive that Czech companies are looking at Tamil Nadu as an investment and business destination. But as Mr. Moti has touched upon it, the single biggest obstacle definitely is the administrative and bureaucratic and regulatory hurdles. Finding a way through this regulatory maze is not easy for Czech companies. And we are studying documents like the defense acquisition procedures and the defense procurement procedures, Make in India, Self-Reliant India programs. And basically, we are aware of the various categories it has established: Buy Global, Buy and Make in India. And these categories, there are about 5 or 6 of them. And each of them carries its own rules and its own implication in terms of tax, in terms of customs, in terms of offset program, in terms of job creation, local job creation, and the local manufacturing content. So maybe if somebody from the panelists and from the representatives of the institutions could elaborate on which could be the ideal, or maybe the most typical avenues for a Czech defense aerospace company coming to India, potentially Tamil Nadu. Which category could it choose? Which would be the most favorable one, let's say? If you could maybe elaborate on that a little bit. Thank you.
Mr. Mansoor, would you like to answer the question? Hello, Mr. Mansoor? Mr. Mansoor, can you hear me?
He's muted.
Hello?
Maybe can I add some information?
I was not able to. Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, sure. Please.
Is Mr. Mansoor answering?
I think Mr. Rajan, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. No, I think it's a very, very good question and a challenge for overseas companies to come into this. See, in any case, as you know, the government's accent is now on Atmanirbharta. I mean, see, they are going, more and more projects will be with at least 50% value addition. That's the norm, and so you'll have to be prepared for that. So the best would be, I would say that the best for Czech companies to come to Tamil Nadu or any location is to look at and locate a very good partner, local partner, and then the local partner will be able to understand the local conditions and then work with the company, and they will take care of all the local issues. Definitely, it is not an easy thing, but it's still worth it. So I think best is to get a local partner, and they will take care of the thing. So, but you must be prepared for ensuring 50% value addition, because in almost all tenders in future will come on that basis. So please ensure that tech companies are open to this, and then it's a lot easier to work. And I would like to again add that in terms of Tamil Nadu government, there is an organization called the Guidance Tamil Nadu, and this Guidance Tamil Nadu is doing an excellent job. In fact, last year I understand they were able to attract something like a fairly huge amount of investment into Tamil Nadu. They are very professional setup, and so your Czech companies can interact with them, and they will be, they are what we call it a single window organization. So the guidance will not only guide but also take care of all the various approvals are required. You did mention that there are many approvals will be required. This guidance will take care of all the approvals and put in place. So I think it will be worth interacting with them. But the best would be that you find a local partner, and he, I'm sure, will be able to help you, and then ensure that all these things are taken care of properly. But I would still urge that you must be mentally prepared for at least 50% value addition. Thank you.
Vijay, this is Madhu here. I would like to add to what Mr. Ramchandran said. He had highlighted the right points. As he mentioned, even during the lockdown, this state was able to attract the maximum investment in the entire country. So that speaks for itself, that how much we are trying to make the ease of business for the companies which want to invest here. I would definitely agree with Mr. Ramachandran that it is best for the Czech companies to partner with an Indian company or a Tamil Nadu-based company. And one more thing I would like to add, that in case the companies could identify a suitable partner, it's wonderful. However, we are here at TITCO, Tamil Nadu Industrial Development Corporation. We are the nodal agency for implementation of the Defense Industrial Corridor. We would be more than willing to help the Czech companies to identify their local partner. And I would like to add to something to what Mr. Ramchandran said. Guidance is doing a wonderful job. Guidance is taking care of all the other domains, barring aerospace and defense. For aerospace and defense, it is Tamil Nadu Industrial Development Corporation. The government has identified that aerospace and defense needs to be a separate sector which needs special attention. And hence, TITCO has been nominated as a nodal agency for this. So that means, let the companies come to us. We are here, seated here at Chennai, to ensure that the ease of doing business is there on the ground. We would like to make the life easy for the Czech companies. It's not going to be a bed of roses, but we aspire to make it as a bed of roses.
So I understand that basically TITCO is the nodal agency for Tamil Nadu and Czech in terms of defense and aerospace industry development, and the Czech companies, they can get in touch with TITCO. TITCO would provide guidance. TITCO would recommend partners. TITCO would inform and explain the procedures that are in place. So you would basically facilitate and sort of handhold and guide them through the process of setting up their business in India, right?
That's right. You had summarized it beautifully. Thanks a lot for that.
Hello, Colonel Kuber, you wanted to say something about this?
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the question was very valid. So firstly, I must say that a foreign company can come into India, and today the FDI policy allows you to come and set up a 74% owned company in India with 26% on the Indian side. The government also goes on to say that in an exceptional circumstance, you can go up to 100%, and have your own company set up in India. But as very rightly brought out, all categories are not amenable to such a arrangement. As far as the DAP is concerned, you will find that when you have a 74% owned company in India, you can participate only in 1 or 2 categories of all the categories that are available. For example, at 74%, you will not be allowed, you will not be entitled, or I will say you will not be eligible to participate in Buy Indian IDDM. Buy IDDM, you will not be able to participate, because Buy IDDM emphasizes on a 4951 max JV. So anything above 49, that particular company will not be eligible to participate in a Buy IDDM category. And therefore, as a consequence, you will not be allowed to participate in Make 1, in Make 2, in the strategic partnership model, and therefore, at 74%, like you very rightly brought out, you will be allowed to participate only in Buy Global and Buy Global Manufacture in India and Buy and Make programs. So therefore, when you actually interpret the DAP against the FDI policy that has been announced by the Government of India, you should know that there is no synergy between the DAP and the FDI policy. While the FDI policy allows, you will find that you will have bottlenecks when you come to DAP, because the DAP is pretty selective in as far as the various categories such as Buy IDDM, Make 2, Make 1, strategic partnership model are concerned. Therefore, your question should be viewed in such a manner. Whether you have an Indian company or you do not have an Indian company does not matter. As of today, as the policy stands, these are the only categories in which you will be allowed to participate. So therefore, if I were to make a recommendation to you, for you to align yourself with the defense acquisition procedures, you will need to be not more than a 49% owned company in India. There are various representations that have been made to the Government of India, and we are also talking to them on various issues such as IP and where the IP resides and how the IP behaves when you participate in these categories. And therefore, we are recommending to the Government of India at 74%, if that particular JV or that Indian company is able to prove IP in India and also is able to prove the sustenance of that IP in India, therefore, they should be allowed to participate. But then all this can happen only when we see an amendment to the DAP 2020. As of today, the thing stands as I told you. I hope this situation is clear. If there are any further doubts on this, I'm very happy to take on. So Jacob, I got your contact in case we can also take it offline. We are very happy to help you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for all the clarifications. Well noted here. And just, I would like to mention the president of IDAT, Aerospace Industry Development Association of Tamil Nadu, has shared in the text in the chat box that they are also eager and willing to help Czech companies to establish themselves in Tamil Nadu, find partners, and do business.
In fact, ADAT is a very good organization, and they have got a lot of capabilities in this. So ADAT comes out with some very wonderful capabilities in terms of their in terms of the number of companies they have, and in terms of the type of relationship that they are holding. And irrespective of all that, a very clear perspective of the DAP of the DPM, the Defense Procurement Manuals, because ultimately when you go to the Ministry of Defense, there are two major documents on which all your acquisitions are governed. One is the DAP 2020, the second is the DPM 2009, and that is undergoing a revision. You're going to have a DPM 2021, which is coming out very soon. The draft DPM is already there, and if you see, there is at least a $3 billion procurement from the revenue side year on year, and therefore that's not a small area, because you've got those companies, where you got the capabilities in terms of MRO and things like that, and all MRO and such related activities are governed by the Defense Procurement Manual, because they come under what's called as revenue route, and therefore you need to understand these two categories very well. And I would strongly also advise you, one is ADAT, the second is SAS and SICI, because as part of SICI and as part of SAS, you will also find that this type of advice will be available to you far easier as you think. And we also in EY do such a job. We do advise companies, and therefore you will find that advice is available to you. It is up to you to pick up the right advice, and but it's very essential to understand the policy and regulatory as it stands. Thank you, Jacob.
Thank you very much, Colonel Cooper. Thank you so much for your insight. It's valuable and fabulous as always. And I think these issues are very well covered in the reports that Mr. Arun has presented. And I believe they will be shared with all the participants of this webinar. So I strongly encourage the Czech companies to thoroughly study these reports. They are very helpful, and they offer some really, really helpful insights.
That's right.
May I add one comment?
Sure.
Yeah. Only this is exactly what we need. DPM, DPP, there were many changes this year because of Corona. Everybody knows that. And for us, it's very difficult to find what is new, what is changed, and so on. The same is Make in India. Make in India 1, 2, 3, and so on, different versions and so on. And we are losing a lot of time to upgrade the informations. And your associations can help us if you prepare something like the starting package for the newcomers in India or something like that with the basic documents, because Invest India supporting us sometimes, of course, but now through the COVID situation, everything was in delays and not a perfect on worldwide, yeah. But your associations can help us very much to give us the updates, what is new with the basics, with the tax, with the DPP, DPM processes, and Make in India, for example. These 3 points are very important, yeah.
Correct.
So, and it helped me all the time. If you can do that, I will be very happy. Yeah?
Okay, so that is very easily done. I think SAS partners, they partner with Sugosha, which is a leading advisory company, and they are able to do that. And even in EY, Ernst & Young, we also run these workshops, and we actually explain the difference between the various DPPs, DPM, and what is new in the DPP today, and how best you can actually participate. And also, in many of the procurements, like for example, either from the DPSUs like HAL, BEL, and other companies that we have, they follow a slightly different procurement model, not really, I would say, 100% aligned to the DAP, but it is mostly aligned, but not necessarily all the time aligned. But even there, in terms of calculation of indigenous content, in terms of calculation of where the IP resides, in terms of calculation of how you can satisfy the tender for your companies to be able to participate, I think it will be very helpful. I'm putting my my email ID and my contact number here. Should you ever require, you're most welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And this is Wing Commander Madhusudan here. And being part of the government, I should really thank the participants here for giving out this requirement. We would try to make a document which could be a ready reckoner, a FAQ for all companies, be it Czech or any other country, so that could be an easy way for trying to invest in the defense industrial corridor. Probably we'll start working on it. I hope that within the next few weeks, we should be ready with the document, and I would share it with all the stakeholders, those who are interested.
That'll be really helpful. That'll be really helpful because especially for the foreign OEMs, they need to figure out as to how they should do that. And I will also encourage SAS partners and SICI to come out with a document like this, because that will be very helpful when you actually interact with embassies, and because there is a need to interact with various embassies, and therefore it's best done by an industry association. And when an industry association does, they really understand how it is done between the industries and the consultant, and therefore I think that works out very well. I think we should do that.
Thank you very much, Colonel Kubar. If I could reiterate what Colonel Kubar said, we at SAS Partners and as knowledge partner of the Southern India Chamber are looking at doing exactly that, because our aim is to attract more and more foreign companies to look at India, to invest in India, and to help them get through this maze of rules and regulations and the compliance, etc. So we would be more than happy to help the Czech embassy as well as Czech companies, Mr. Mortal and others. Having said that, I'd now like to give the floor back to Southern India Chamber for the closing remarks. Thank you very much. Thanks to all the participants. I think it was a very interesting panel with a lot of doubts that were cleared. Thank you. Over to you, Vinod.
Yeah, thank you, Vijay. Thank you so much for a lively interactions, which was practical as well as very valuable for both the Czech as well as the Indian partners. We will quickly move ahead. May now request His Excellency Mr. Milan Hovorka, the Ambassador of the Czech Republic in India, to share his concluding remarks, final comments, please.
Good evening. I understand, guys, but I'm still with you, I understand. But I committed myself to stay with you. And I believe that I am well known for delivering on my words. I tell you honestly, I have been attending so many meetings over the last couple of months. But I have to say that only few had such a informative and insightful content as the one we are about to bring to an end. And I tell you honestly, it is not so often that after presentations you enter into QR period and you have people who raise their questions, and there are other participants willing to come in with informative answers. And this is what has been happening over the last, oh my goodness, more than 3 hours. So I believe it took you much beyond the original schedule. And still, I don't see too many faces for obvious reasons, you know. But still, I see a large number of names, those who have been with us till the very last moment. I believe that I committed a big mistake in my previous intervention as not extending my sincerest gratitude to the government of Tamil Nadu and their continuous support to the cause of strengthening and deepening bilateral relations between our two great entities. And once again, the presentation made and other interventions testifies to the clear commitment of the government of Tamil Nadu to this noble cause. I have also omitted a colleague of mine, Jakub Jarosz, who is much younger than his boss. He has been working hard to make this happen. And I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's put hands together and give him a big round of applause. Thank you so much. Definitely, and here I'm repeating myself, with friends at the Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I am equally gratified to fellow colleague of mine, fellow compatriot of mine representing Czech industry. I have always been admirative by their commitment, dedication to travel half a globe to find new partners or strengthen the existing ties. We have heard that I believe two reports have been produced on this particular occasion, and I'm committing myself to take time to have a look at them. And also, I'll be in touch with my team here in the embassy, with the honorary consulate of the Czech Republic in Chennai, definitely with Mr. Arun, who has been doing a tremendous job to represent the Czech Republic. But definitely, we will also be in touch also with the Southern India Chamber of Commerce and Industry with a view to putting a kind of follow-up in place. And I believe that while bringing this webinar to an end, we will be not closing the book. Maybe we will be completing this particular chapter, but at the same time, we will be opening a new one. And in this new chapter, we will try to give more considerate thought to those ideas, suggestions we heard during the webinar. Once again, you can count very much on me, the embassy. I am also quite an accountable person. So whatever I say, whatever I commit, you can always compare your note and come back to me. So I'm purposely committing myself to come back once again to Chennai to meet friends there. And I will do it with the clear purpose of taking stock and definitely evaluating steps that we have taken over the last couple of weeks. But for obvious reasons, it's not going to be in hours or days to come. now we have to be reasonable in tempering our respective ambitions, but definitely we remain committed. Once again, please stay safe. Tremendous effort. Thank you very much for very valuable inputs and views brought to the table by those who have been active in our deliberations. Take care, stay safe, and let us keep in touch.
Thank you, Your Excellency. As you said, we are not going to close the book. So we will be having a series of interactions with regards to defense and aerospace, as well as with regards to Czech Republic and the delegation that we are planning in the days to come. And I take this opportunity to thank each and every participant. I thank every speaker, right from Mr. Baines to Mr. Colonel Kuber, Dr. Karthikeyan, the various Czech companies that made the presentations, Mr. Vijay Kumar for so adequately and suitably moderating the panel, Mr. Jakub Jarosz, Mr. Ramchandra, Wing Commander Madhusutanan, Mr. Peter Motil, each and every one of them. Thank you for sharing your insights. Thank you for your time. And I would like to specifically thank SAS Partners for the knowledge reports, which will be circulated to you shortly. And I no doubt fully believe that you would all appreciate the effort that has gone into these reports. And I would request all the participants, if there are any further comments, feedback, or any assistance needed, please feel free to reach out to the Southern India Chamber of Commerce or to SAS Partners. We would do our best to ensure that we are able to support and adequately address the issues that are at hand. I thank you once again for your time. I look forward to welcoming you in our future events as well. Thank you so much. I wish you safe times ahead. Thank you.
Mr. Solomon, may I have one more note, a concluding note?
Please. Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you so much. I would also like to thank everybody involved in making this happen. And I have one practical suggestion. I'm looking at the chat box, and it seems to me that a lot of Indian companies have actually described their line of operations. They have added their contact details. There are some offers of cooperation. I suggest if you, as the organizer, if SICI could distribute the contents of the chat box to all the participants of this webinar. I think that would be very practical. That could help. A part of that, of course, I would kindly ask you to please, if you could extend the reports and all the presentations. I think that would be also helpful. And basically, I wanted to give you a big thanks and to Mr. Arun and Mr. Johnson and Colonel Kuber and everybody, the representatives of the government of Tamil Nadu. Thank you so much for your very insightful presentations. It was a pleasure, and I hope this will really be the beginning of a larger cooperation of a follow-up, and we'll be able to maybe organize future webinars that will delve more deeply into the details of the DAP and the DPP and the SME and the FDI strategies of Tamil Nadu that Colonel Kuber has elaborated on. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.